Jeffrey,
What's up, brother?
we're live. Welcome back to the show, my friend. How long's it been?
I think it's been at least 7 months.
My God.
I think it had to been June, July.
Yeah, it's been a minute, my friend. It's been a minute. So
It's been
let's
a long
talk
time.
about what the hell have you been up to?
Well, not a whole lot. Working away and started up this club here in Chilliwack. That's been going really good. We think we got about 15 members coming out to my garage now every Thursday, every Sunday. Some really good pullers. Pretty excited to see where they go. I got one heavyweight, Ben Booth, about 6'8", 310 pounds. I think he's going to translate into something really special. All the guys are fairly strong. There's another guy, Andrew, who was a power lifter. He's incredibly strong. I know we had a little super match thing here in Chilliwack, and they did extremely well, beat some seasoned guys and some experienced pullers out of Vancouver. So, yeah, that's been the thing, working and just training with these guys here in Chilliwack. And looking forward to this year. Excited to see where they go.
That's cool.
How about yourself? You just got back from vacation, didn't you?
Well, I was in Mexico for a while. Holy cow, we're actually competing against Top Roll Productions.
Oh, they got a show tonight?
So we'll see if we get anybody at all. We got one person watching. Maybe that's you. We have I was in Mexico for a while. I was in at my cabin for the weekend. I'll tell you, they're starting to roll in now. But I'll tell you, we haven't talked since we haven't had a show. Did we have a show after I got back from Arm Wars?
Oh, heck no.
No. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, it had to have been June, the last one we did. June, July. I don't even think I started up this club yet. And that was in. So, yeah, it's been a while. It's good to be back, and maybe we can do something a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, man. I mean, I always want to keep rolling with the stuff that's been happening, the stuff we have working. And, there's no reason we can't get on here a little more often, especially because we're both going to be on the same card coming up here.
How in Vegas?
Well, let's talk about, where do you want to start, man?
Oh, man, there's so much to talk about. We could press rewind and go back 6 months. I'm trying to think, like, what's really.
What are the high points? I mean, John Brzezinski is back. That's one thing we haven't ever talked about.
How cool! And I mean, look at his match coming up with Irakli. Isn't that going to be awesome?
That is awesome. And Irakli, yeah, isn't he pulling? Oh no, not Irakli. David Loan's training partner there is going to pull Oleg. That was announced today. Left-handed at the next East versus West match.
Oh man, who's that?
The Dikian, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be a good match. I think. And didn't they get? What happened with PAL losing the Kurdecha Leighton match?
I have no idea. I mean, I talked to Alex, relatively frequently.
Well, he called me yesterday, and I didn't, or that it was like 3 a.m. here, so I missed it. But
and I have not. I've not asked him. Hey, the gang is all back, man. Warren Kernot's in there. Ronan Unleashed back, and we'll get them all back in here. Make sure you guys hit like on your way in.
Hit like, hit subscribe.
But, I talk to Alex from time to time, and I don't. I have no idea how that played out. Where it went from PAL over to the King of the Table event. Yeah, but I like it better at the King of the Table.
I do too.
I mean, refereeing probably won't be quite as tight, if we can say that with fairness.
Which is good.
Which is good in a way. And
I like it. I like it. Call it modified WAF rules if you want to have a less stringent, I guess, rule set.
Yeah.
Let some. I mean, if you look at the matches in WAF, they do get kind of. What's a good example? Rustam Babiev and Tim Bresnan. How drawn out that was. That benched elbow fell after false start.
It's not. I like the rule set. I like pulling that rule set. But holy cow. it gets to the point where a referee might think that elbow came up, but didn't actually see it, and they'll call the foul.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's looking good. East versus West is slated for August 3. East versus West 3.
I think so. Well, I'm not sure the date of that at all.
I think it was slated for sometime in August. But so you got John Brzenk against Irakli. What do you got there? Is not going to be.
I mean, I think John is doing nothing but winning unless he's pulling Devin or Levon in the next little while.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
I wouldn't put, if it was John against Vitaly, Alex Kurdecha, Devin, or Levon, I think he loses those matches. But I think he beats everybody else.
And you got Dave Chafee versus. Help me out, Ryan. Man,
Jesus, I just talked to Dave. like not long.
Anyways, nonetheless, there's some. You got King of the Table 3. You got East versus West 3 all coming up. They're going to be just phenomenal cards.
Yeah. So,
and you want to talk about a high point? Let's talk about Alex Kurdecha.
While
we're on the topic of him.
I don't think anybody realized how good he was when I went over to pull him.
Mm-hmm.
And they might have dismissed him still. And then he's had matches since then. He beat Sporong really easily. And then he went on and he beat Gasparini really easily.
Really easy. Doesn't it, when you look at the whole scheme of kind of what went down, I mean, you went over there, you took a loss to him. He beat Ermi's really easy. He's been on a tear, and Ermi's beaten Gennady, Gennady beaten Michael Todd. I just think this whole
it's weird math,
world, it is, and this whole I think it's good because I think it opens up the door for just so many interesting matchups. And I really like what Engen's doing here with the East versus West. With
you suddenly have a legitimate super heavyweight that's mixing things up.
Right.
Otherwise, we would have seen the same shit we did previous years.
And how old is Alex? He's still relatively young, right?
Man, he's like not even 30.
Oh boy, yeah. How's the arm healing up? Just to switch topics and speaking of Alex Kurdecha.
Not bad.
You're training it, you're pulling a bit?
I am not training it actively. I am pulling a bit, but I am contemplating pulling the tournament in Vegas.
With your right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It felt that good.
You know why I'm saying interesting?
Why?
Because Matt will probably pull that tournament too.
Well, Matt has a right-handed super match.
He will probably still pull the tournament.
Oh, that's fun.
He typically does.
That's fun, but let me just go out here and say it's a tester. So you might see me pull 3 or 4 matches and then bow out.
You must have something you can test it on that's not such high level coming up in Saskatchewan, Manitoba.
Yeah. I'm actually going to a tournament that's being held in Morris. Actually, it's all super matches with a practice.
Right.
I'm pulling Kyle Rayner, who is a big, strong guy from Thunder Bay.
In a super match?
In a left-handed super match, yeah. And he's excited about it, so I'm going to do that match, and then I'll probably do some pulling with the right arm with those guys.
Nice.
So they are super heavyweight guys. Kyle does have a big match with Ben Clausen from down in that area, which those names probably don't mean anything to the people viewing here. Maybe to Warren they do, but those are big names coming up from Manitoba and Northwestern Ontario that will be somebody in the next few years.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you, man. That's good to hear that. Got some big things coming up. And so just on the topic of the Cody Merritt match is off. Just give me a second. I got to throw these fucking dogs outside.
Sure. I won't answer your questions when you get back. So, yeah, the chat. Warren Kernot, good to see you as well, my friend. Ronan Unleashed, who do I have? I got to go with my guy. I got to go with Alex. I believe he can win. And if he does win, I think the world is like tipped on its edge for arm wrestling wise. And you end up with a guy that is challenging Levon and or Devin in the short term for that number one spot in the world. Warren, matchmaking is definitely a skill hard to attain. It's so unknown because, you never know what guys are up to. They can come in one day and be a different version of themselves and, embrace the pancake lifestyle as they would, as the kids now say, and they end up showing up as absolute monsters and you don't know who you're putting up against them and they just kill somebody. But yeah, X Monster. 3 live arm wrestling shows at once. Interesting.
Who's the third?
Well, I know it's Aussie Arm Wrestler, us, and I don't know who the third one is. Although I'm sure if I just popped over to YouTube here fast, I'd see them like streaming right now. Oh, Top Roll. No, it's me, Artem. I don't know who the third one. Not Aussie. It was Artem, us, and there's 14 people watching Artem. There's 12 people watching us. So we're right in the running here. And he's doing Q&A about the world rankings. All right. All right, here we go. Warren's dying to get back on the table. Absolutely. They're saying it might be Uncle John. Interesting. Normally Uncle John's stuff will pop up in my feed. My thoughts on Krasny versus Corey. Awesome match. Now, I don't know when that is, but I've been working on a match with Corey in Texas at the end of May. We're just working out the details.
That's left-handed?
Left-handed. I got lots of left-handed opportunities coming up.
So back to, sorry, you and Cody off the table. Has it been rescheduled?
Has not been rescheduled because we don't know what Cody's status is yet.
And that was supposed to be in March. Are you going to KC still?
I'm not.
Oh, so March, April. So then your next would be your match against Michael Todd in April.
March 12th. March 12th, Kyle Rayner.
March 12th, you're pulling Kyle. Okay.
Yeah. And then April 9th, Michael Todd.
Give me your thoughts on that.
Michael better stop touring around Europe and get home and train because if he doesn't, he's in big trouble.
Yeah. I think
your vacation. The party's going to be over pretty soon.
Yeah. Anyway,
don't get me wrong, man. I love Michael. He's a friend. Of all the elite American arm wrestlers, I probably talk to him more often than any of them. I love arm wrestling guys that I actually am friends with and have respect for. So
I just think that's a really bad matchup stylistically left-handed for him.
Well, he's going to come in and try to get his shoulder on top.
Yeah, I don't think that's exactly what I envisioned.
That's probably what's going to happen. I mean, my side pressure is at an all-time high. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I was training to pull March 5th. I just have another against Cody. So I got another month to prepare.
Which is good. Yeah, I know there's so many. What else we got Matt Mask and Tim Bresnan.
Yeah. So that's interesting because I reached out to how that all came to be is I reached out to Matt and I said, I see you got a match down there. I said, can you give me Sean Hancock's info so I can give him a call and see, ask about the tournament. Because originally, when my match with Cody got canceled, I was just going to go to Vegas and pull the tournament. And he said, well, there's no prize money really for left arm. I don't remember what he said, but he goes, are you interested in a vendetta? I said, sure. I mean, what do you got in mind? And 25 minutes later, Rebecca was messaging me saying, I guess we'll see you in Vegas.
Nice.
And then it evolved into this Canada versus USA card, which is, Tim versus Matt, Rance Clayton versus Nelson Torque. You trained with Nelson before, right?
Yeah, actually, I have a little bit. He's from Edmonton, so a couple of times he came down to Matt's club there when I was back in Alberta, and And man, I hate doing this because I hate making predictions, but I do think Rance is just. I think there's a little bit of. I don't know. I don't know how well he's come. Everybody's evolved so much in the last year, but off the top of my head, I think that's a little bit of a mismatch. I think Rance is definitely going to be the heavy favorite. But
Okay. Yeah, I think so too.
and that's taken nothing against Nelson. He actually offered me a super match today in June. I accepted that. So
He has been called. He called me a couple times too. Asked me if I had to.
yeah.
Well, who are you pulling in June?
Big 6'8" Josh Bellin.
Okay. So, I pulled Josh.
Yep.
Yeah, he's strong.
Yep.
Jeff, he's strong.
You wait.
Okay, man. There's actually 4 shows going. So it's us, Monday Night Madness with Uncle John and the Aussie Arm Wrestler, Artem, and apparently Brandon Allen's show is going at the same time.
Oh, nice.
All right, back to it. We got Corey Bresnan versus Evan Burgoyne. I was a little surprised when that one popped up.
See, I know nothing about Corey Bresnan. I don't even.
Well, I know he's been pulling for a while. I don't know. I talked to Evan a little bit. He sounds pretty confident. But, I mean, when does Evan not sound confident?
Yeah, Evan's going to go in every match confident. He's cocky, doing what he does best. We love Evan for that. And I just don't know enough about Corey to make any, I guess, intelligent prediction.
Yeah. It's too close to predict anyway. It's too far out, I mean, to start doing those. We got Mike Fontnot versus Jeff Frank. No comments?
Hey, I'm just excited to go, man. I mean, honestly, for me, you know me, Ryan. I love taking on matches that are way out there and doing that. I enjoy doing it. I love the challenge, and it's an honor to be on the card with the Ryan Espys and Michael Todds and Matt Mash, Tim Bresnans, and so on and so forth. So I'm just excited to go. Hey, I'm going to prepare 100% and do my best, and I think I'll be all right.
Okay. Now, then we got Fraser Benoit.
Yeah, against Sean Hancock. Oh boy,
that's a good match.
You know what? I told that to Matt. I said, I think that's the best matchup on this card. Wow, I just think just one that I think will be a real barn burner.
Yeah,
but I don't. Oh man, it's hard to predict. I believe that Fraser has a heavy advantage outside the straps with his hit in the hook. If it goes to the straps, things are going to get really interesting for me. I think that's where Sean's got his biggest advantage.
See, I don't necessarily agree with you just because I know Fraser loves the straps.
He does. I guess for what I'm saying, I think Fraser's best offer. It may be in both areas, but I think just when I first look at it, I thought that his hit outside the straps will be his best chance. Sean's going to be. I know Sean Hancock loves the straps too. For me, I think that's if he's got any chance that it'll be in that strap. Whether he has one or not, I don't know.
Well, Sean is the bigger guy.
Yeah, he is.
There's a weight cap on this match, and I know
there is.
Yeah, I think it was 210 or something like that. Don't quote me because I might be off on this, but there is a weight cap of some kind. I mean,
yeah.
So Sean can't just come in at 240 and pull Fraser who's 200 pounds, right?
Yeah. Here's why I'm saying this is I think Jody Williams would have had a much better. I think Jody Williams would have beat Sean Hancock if he didn't accept it as a strap match.
Oh yeah,
because I do. I don't think Sean could contain Jody's hit, and I think he's going to be in the same situation as Fraser. If it goes to the straps, we'll see. I know Fraser loves the straps too, but I think that's Sean's best chance. It's a good match. It's a great match.
Yeah. So there's also, I can't announce it yet because it's not confirmed, but apparently they're working on something for Joe Fox.
Yeah, I heard a couple different names. Yeah.
Well, I might have heard Jason Merlot.
I thought Merlot had a match,
which would make that a left-handed match.
Oh, Joe wouldn't take that left-handed.
No?
Mm-mm. I can't see that at all.
Okay, that'd be, well, if it's Merlot right-handed, I mean, that should.
Joe, Yeah, Joe's got one interest, and that's to move up the rankings right-handed, and I don't think he would do something like that with the left hand.
Archdog says, please quietly smash Devin like a real man. I'd love to. Oh, man. Well, that's kind of all the matches we got on the Canada versus USA, but what do you want to revisit over the past 6 months that we haven't talked about?
We could still go forward too. We got Louisiana State and Arizona State too.
Yeah.
Are they too far out yet?
Well, they're pretty far. They're pretty far out. We
I like
have King of the Table 3 coming up right away.
Who's all on that card again?
Bringing it up right now, my friend. Because I am a subscriber and I have all the, I still have all the, oh my God. Okay. It's the first thing that popped up. So we got Bortolato versus Hermes Gasparini.
Is that left-handed?
I don't think it is.
Oh, I think that's a bad match for Wagner.
I agree with you 100%. If well, I'm going to say this. This is crazy because I'm on their thing here. You can buy King of the Table 3 is $9.99. Worth every penny. If you don't want to pay $10 to watch like a really good production and some awesome arm wrestling, don't bitch about it. Just don't watch.
Yeah.
But you can also buy the All Access for $26.99, which covers you for the whole year.
That's dirt cheap.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to do that. And then, so we have Sarah versus Gabby in a rematch.
That's great.
That is great. But who would you pick?
I mean, I don't, oh man, I have to go with Gabby still. But I mean, Sarah's been doing so much. Good God, she looks strong. But Gabrielle is just, I think she's just another level above.
Yeah, Gabby doesn't ever stop training, and Sarah, I feel like she does from time to time.
Yeah, it's I still think Gabby's a step above. That's a great matchup. It's the two best women on the planet. So
yeah. Well, let's talk about this one. What do you think of RVJ versus Ryan Bowen being postponed?
I didn't hear why.
Nobody has heard why.
I think that's very unfortunate.
Postponed, really, not canceled, but we need to see that.
Either or. I wanted to see that, so that's good that it's only postponed. And I don't know. I'm not sure what he's thinking taking on Bozidar.
What?
Yeah.
Bozidar is the replacement at King of the Table?
Not at King of the Table, but he's flying to Australia to pull Ryan.
Okay. Bozidar is an excellent arm wrestler.
I guess so. I think that's a little outside of Ryan's league, but Ryan isn't never afraid to step up to any challenges. He still owes Jordan Sill a match from Washington State. I'm going to just go and shout out to Tim Talmadge, and that was a fucking phenomenal event, man. I was there December 11th. God damn, that place was fucking packed. I love USA arm wrestling. Oh, you know, you can go to any corner, and all these state championships are just slam packed with talent. The places are full. I love it. I love arm wrestling in the U.S.
You just love the Americans.
I do, man. I just love. You know, when I crossed the border, when I drove across the border to the United States, here, it kicked it off right there for me. He asked for our passports. Sure, here you go. Okay, see you guys. See you. Oh, whoa, wait. Are you guys vaccinated? Yeah. All right. Have a good day. that was the, you know, coming back the other way. What a shit show, you know. But if I look at it, if I look at the tournament as a whole, like, I just love how they're done. I love that they get so many competitors from all over the place. There's always people flying in. You just rarely see that in Canada. You rarely do. Other than nationals, what tournament do you go to where you get a lot of interprovincial polling? Maybe, you know, a little bit with Saskatchewan, Manitoba, or Alberta, Saskatchewan, but a little bit from that one corner of BC might go into Alberta. But you don't see those guys flying in from Ontario or all the way out on the other coast and to these tournaments. It just seems in the United States, they're just always 300 plus entries. It's the state championships,
yeah,
or the bigger events. they're just well done, well put on. I love going there.
Hey, Jeff, I got an update for you. The Artem's channel, Top Roll King, has got 11 viewers. We got 18. And Uncle
There you
John's
go.
killing us at 45.
Well, it's because we're not consistent enough. We got to stay on this.
Hey, you're right. Also, I have an update. There's several people in the chat saying that it is left-handed.
What's that?
Wagner versus.
Oh yeah, and that makes sense. I think right-handed. That's not even much of a match.
David's here, says Rob. He's thinking Rob has some serious stuff going on because he's been off social media for 3 weeks. So yeah, probably correct. I could probably reach out to Rob and find out, but that's his business, and he'll update us as he sees fit.
Yeah.
If he can't do it, he can't do it. It is what it is, and we wish him the best. Ward Drake in the chat, saying hi. That's all.
How's it going, Ward?
All right, onward and upward. The other thing we're going to talk about, Larry Wheels has a match. The rumor is it's Khaled Jashel.
Interesting.
The table. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. It might be, but we'll see. Hopefully, Larry can pull off a win one of these times.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know what to think about this, Ryan, and I know you'll have a lot more intelligent insight than I'll have, but I've been kind of struggling with these super matches compared to tournament polling lately, and like I don't know what to say about it because I'm even bad for it because they're fun to pull the super matches, but I just think this tournament style arm wrestling is kind of getting lost in the way of all these high profile super matches. Don't get me wrong, I love watching them, but what are your thoughts?
Well, it's actually.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I'd like to see Larry pull some tournaments.
Well, here's the deal. This is something actually Jody and I are going to talk about in depth on Wednesday as well. But I'm going to tell you, I mean, tournament versus super match. Super matches weren't a thing when I started. And I think that your best chance of development is coming up and pulling as many different arms as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe there should be novice super matches out there.
I don't know if I agree with you there. I mean, I don't know if I disagree. Maybe not novice, but I don't mind lower key super matches. Maybe I don't know the history of a super match per se and what the word super means. Maybe you call them a challenge match, but I don't. I like seeing some of these lower profile. I'll call them challenge because maybe super match. Maybe the word super means something that you got to be somewhat of a.
Do you remember back in the UFC when they had the first UFCs and they were all tournaments?
Yeah.
And then they started switching to these super fights.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It feels like that to me.
Right.
And you would never expect to see, a couple of novice fighters get into a super fight because there's nothing super about it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a good match or not. I mean, I can go to the elementary school next door and get 2 kindergarten students to pull, and they can pull a match that's 20 minutes long and never pin. Just because it's an amazing match doesn't mean people really want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of split on that, but I see where you're going with it, and I don't necessarily wholeheartedly disagree, and there's parts of it I do agree with too, but I do agree 100% that the way of tournaments is your best form of development. There's no question about that.
Well, there's not, and I feel like you need to earn your spot in that super match format a little bit. That's just me. So
are you using the word, what if you called them a challenge match? What if it's just 2 people that want to pull a best of 5?
Here's the thing. It needs to mean something to me, okay? So if somebody is going to pull a challenge match, it's not just because they want you to match and they want the spotlight of it. If 2 guys have a grudge, and they want to work it out, there's a ranking issue, If you want to definitively see who is the better arm wrestler, that is the reason for the challenge match.
Okay, so let me ask you a
You
question.
will never see Devin Larratt and Levon Saganishvili pull in a tournament and have a definitive answer on who is better. They have to pull the super match.
So what would you call the UAWL that you're doing those super matches with?
They're challenge matches. But in Manitoba, in our pond that is small, those arm wrestlers are the elite of the province.
Yeah, the pond. Yeah, no, fair enough.
So they are also guys that are ranked near the top in the province.
Mm-hmm.
So those matches mean something.
So, yeah, no,
they do.
Yeah.
There was money on the line for those matches, but they actually did mean something. And they will continue because that league is going to come back. As soon as on March 15th, we're without restriction in Manitoba now. So you'll see me put on some events at that point.
I was going to ask you something.
Go ahead.
What's your thoughts? What's going on in Canada right now? We're going to go shift a little bit to some politics here.
You really want me to go there?
I don't want to drag this out and make this part of the show. Just a few minutes.
With the restrictions coming off?
I'm talking more about what do you think of this convoy and the Emergency Act and
I don't agree with the convoy. I don't. I think the intent of it was good and some of the wrong people got involved. And there's such asinine statements on both sides.
Well, there always has been, but
when I heard the words genocide against truckers,
I never heard that.
I did on a live speech from the stage at the convoy in Ottawa. When I heard the words, this is like the Holocaust, it is not like the Holocaust. It is not even goddamn close.
I mean,
it's not even in the same freaking sport. Like it's the ballpark isn't the same. The sport's not the same. We're not talking about the same thing here. But people like to use extreme examples to get their point across. Do I agree with all the other shit? No, but I think they made their point. And now that restrictions are coming off, they best go home because the fight is over, man. Go home and be depressed now because
I don't think this fight is anywhere near over. And in fact, I think it's going to get a lot worse. And here's why I believe Trudeau implemented this emergency act is because it falls directly in line with the 30 days with his plan on taking all your firearms away. And I think that this is where things with this emergency act, if it doesn't get, even though it passed vote, there's still another process. I don't know what it is, but let's say it stays for the full 30 days and meets this deadline of the firearms where you have to give back everything that's in I think there's fucking 70 different types of firearms that fall under the assault rifle. I think things are going to get really scary here in the next month.
Jeff, if you are correct, then whatever we saw in that trucker convoy, you might as well inject that with a big old dose of steroids. And that's what's going to happen.
So,
and at that point, you might see a lot more people get on board.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see where it all goes. And if you have a registered firearm that needs to be given back, if they're going to have the right to come kick your door in and search your house with this in place, it's scary.
Yep.
But moving on.
Yeah, let's move on. Ward and I don't talk about this much because we disagree on it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree with what you're saying when it comes to some extreme. I mean, they're always. I mean, you always got your far left views and your far right views, and some of the far right, like I mean,
my only beef with it is when uneducated people make statements and are so cocksure of themselves when they're clearly wrong.
The one thing I just don't agree with what you said is that you don't agree with the convoy.
Okay,
you cannot disagree with somebody.
I said I agree with it at first. But here's what I don't agree with. I get your point. I know what you're trying to do. But there's a whole lot of people that were completely disrupted as follow to that. And you can't deny that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that, but I mean, that's part of protest.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, moving
Anyways,
on.
moving on. What did Ward say in the comments?
Just that he agrees with you.
Thanks, Ward.
Oh, here's the other thing. Ward made a good point here. Reason some guys in the ranking don't want to pull tournaments is they're scared to go 2 and out.
Yeah.
Back to the super match versus tournament debate. That's an interesting point, because I see a lot of guys asking for tournaments, or asking for super matches rather. They're going to travel all the way to a big event in the United States from Canada, and they're saying, hey, can I get a super match? Why the hell would you do that? Well, Ward makes a good point. Maybe it's the fact that those folks are afraid to go down there and go 2 and out.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think there's a lot of people that just don't like to lose. Like, I mean, you tell me where some of these good pullers are. Where's Sam Harris been?
That's a good point.
Why aren't these guys pulling some tournaments if there's no WL? Even if they don't want to pull in Europe or whatever, I don't.
Let's talk about that. Where the hell is the WL? And I don't know, man.
So the last time I seen an email come across that they're looking at doing something along the lines of this year, along the lines of Game of Arms.
Well,
did you get that email?
I have been out of the loop with them for quite a while, and my contract is up in June. And maybe it's because of the injury, I don't know, but I'm not hearing anything from them. And I know that they've reached out to a few guys about contracts. Like behind the scenes, they've asked me for some advice on signing contracts.
Yeah. Here's where, I mean, that's what I heard. I think that's what Jamie had emailed me last, that there was something big coming up and it was going to be launched this year. And it was along the lines of a Game of Arms type series. And I believe if it doesn't happen this year, I would have to think the WL is dead.
Well, a lot of people would say that contracts are a thing of the past too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's so many opportunities out there that do not require a contract.
Mm-hmm. And probably pay a lot better.
Well, they pay you as if you're an employee. It's not winnings in the States. So the difference is, for those of you that don't know, is if you go or you're a Canadian and you go to the States and you win a prize purse, you are entitled to keep 100% of that prize purse tax free. But if you're going to a WL event and you're competing, they pay you as if you're an employee providing a service, which means you need to file a tax return for the money that you generate in the WAL. So that's a big downside. You have to do a tax return in the United States, which I have not yet done. So maybe they're going to come after me at some point. But that's one of the things that you have to do. You have to have all the tax forms in order for them to, pay you as if you're employed by that company.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I think contracts will be gone. Like you said, there's just too many opportunities out there and too many exciting opportunities. Like, I mean, shit, to go and pull Europeans in.
Whatever people think about Devin Laird, he's leading a different movement of arm wrestling. So he is without contract, and I would be shocked if you ever saw Devin Laird pull or sign more than a one-match deal going forward.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see in the WL the Devin Laird's or even the Michael Todds. I think it's going to be a new breed of up-and-coming arm wrestlers if they want to go the Game of Arms route. I don't think you're going to see the All-Stars.
Well,
what would be my guess?
If I were to say to you right now, who are the champions in the WAL? Outside of Michael Todd, who can you tell me?
Sam Harris, RBG, and Michael Todd.
There's only the three?
Yeah.
You're sure it's Sam Harris?
Yeah, Sam Harris. Sam Harris, RBJ, and Michael Todd are the three champions of the WL.
Oh, I couldn't have told you that. I could have told you RVJ if I thought about it for a while. But it's been so long since I've seen these guys that, I wouldn't have been confident in just saying that.
Yeah, Sam Harris' last match was the very close loss, or he almost lost, or that he won 3-2 against Adam Wilmot.
And then you got when you go to their site, it doesn't have the you know how it used to have the champions listed right at the top?
Mm-hmm. Not there?
Doesn't have that anymore.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna stick by that. If it don't go this year, I don't think you'll see it. I'm not sure what a billionaire like Steve Kaplan would get out of mediocre margins of revenue, if any.
It must have been profitable at one point, and they remember that period of time where they had someone on their social media was doing a whole bunch of stuff, and we all got excited. It was right in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Their Instagram all of a sudden had all this activity, and then all of a sudden it just went away, and we never heard about it.
Yeah, they haven't posted anything for quite a while, have they?
I know.
Interesting. I don't know. I think King of the Table is going to be the new big thing, and I think what Engen doing with East versus West is just, I think that's pretty cool.
Well,
It's
without commenting on details, apparently he's paying pretty well, and guys are getting treated really well.
Yeah, don't surprise me. Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool setup. He's got to fix that fucking live stream, which I'm sure he'll do.
Yeah, that's one thing that we've been seeing lately that I don't agree with, or that I think they should test a little better, is the audio is just the shits.
Oh, it was terrible.
Live streams.
Yeah.
Going back to that Travis Bajan pay-per-view, that was brutal.
Which one was that?
Where he pulled El Cesar.
What happened there, man? Fucking El Cesar's a beast.
What happened there was one guy was training and one guy came off the couch.
Like, if there is one, you want to talk about high points? Has there been anybody involved with Brandon El Cesar? Like from
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Mediocre to like top of the food chain.
Well, mediocre. I
mean, Corey West would be another one.
A couple of years ago, didn't we have him beat BLM at
BLM beat Brandon?
Well, it was 2-1. So Brandon beat him once, and then BLM came back and beat him twice, or something like that. But BLM beat him twice and won the tournament. So we'll find out if he is involved.
I think that matchup, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure Brendan has come a long ways too. But if BLM beats Brandon, fuck me.
Then what's next? I'll throw some quick ones at you. What do you think of Curtis Cameron pulling Mark Harrison?
It all depends which Mark Harrison shows up. That could be really bad for Mark, or that could be fucking phenomenal matchup. Mark is so up and down with his training. It's hard to know which Mark. If the heavily trained Mark Harrison shows up, I think that's a great matchup.
He better show up. He better show up.
He's in for a really strong dude.
What I know is that Curtis Cameron, if everything I've been hearing is correct, and I have my doubts, but if everything I'm hearing is correct, Curtis Cameron is coming for me at Nationals.
Yeah, I seen some rumblings about that.
You have?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's what he's saying. Allegedly.
Have you pulled with him at all?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to think who I seen him beat that would justify that statement.
Well, I know the person he beat Ian Carnegie.
Left-handed?
No. Well, I don't know if Ian's left is that good, but
yeah.
And he didn't beat Rick Heidebrick.
Yeah, Rick beat him. Yeah, I remember that.
That was New England Championships in 2019. that BLM beat Brandon.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. The other one, I'm kind of one match that has me arms for videos. One match that has me kind of scratching my head a little bit is Kurdecha coming here to pull Rick Heidelberg.
When's that?
It's in the fall. I think it's at the same event that
why?
I'm curious myself, actually. I love Rick. He's a great guy. But to put a guy that we're talking about being in top 3 on the planet against him, it sure is interesting.
That must be a PAL Canada event.
It is.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Arm Sport Video says Curtis lost to BLM at Free for All last fall. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see. You never know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's some really good matchups coming. I'm really excited to see where everybody's going to stand. I'm really excited to see that BLM Brandon Elsesser match. Like, I'm just. I mean, from what I see, Brendan wasn't overly impressive when he came out to my TAL, but he also said he wasn't training that hard. Is like, how good is a heavily trained BLM? Like, I can't wait to see that match. Yeah, there's so many good ones coming up. It's hard to.
You need to disregard anytime somebody comes to a tournament, maybe underperforms, and then says they weren't training.
Yeah.
What the hell were they doing then, coming to that tournament?
Yeah. What do you think about this East versus? What do you think about the whole East versus West and the Europeans versus the North Americans on a talent level?
In general,
as a whole, sure, it doesn't seem to be like a whole lot of competition under 220 pounds, 240 pounds when it comes from Europeans and North Americans.
I think they need to do a little bit better job of matchmaking.
So let's throw some names up there. Who in North America, outside of John Brzink, do you think that could compete with the Iraklis, the Bozadars, the Playmans?
Well, you need to go cream of the crop on that one. Like, guys like Paul Lynn could probably do something. It's a tough one.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Paul Lynn over there yet in the East versus West.
Yeah.
Unless he's anti-vax, he may very well be.
Justin Bishop. I mean,
yeah, man.
It's a really challenging matchmaking situation. You know, you could say RVJ, but then RVJ went and lost to Sasho. And Sasho is like a really little guy, Jeff. Like, he might be.
Have you met him?
I have. I stayed in that room.
Have you ever shook his hand in?
Yeah.
Does he have a small hand?
Yeah. Yeah.
So explain to me how these guys get so fucking strong.
I don't know, man.
Like, where's, like, what is it? Is it like that connective tissue? Is it in the wrist? Is it just the whole arm? Is it the tendons? What is it? Like, it's really impressive to me, actually.
It's almost like there's a genetic predisposition for arm wrestling and all of the right training and supplementation and everything else you can throw at it. But it's a tough one, because I gotta tell you, I think some of this has to do with guys cutting their teeth by going to international competitions. So the guys that do well at the Worlds are the guys that go to Worlds all the time.
But who in North America has really done good at Worlds?
But they go once or twice and then they stop.
Right. Like, we have some fairly prolific pullers in the Masters, maybe in the Grandmasters, that do well. But if you look at the Open division, there's really nobody. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's because there's not enough. I'd like to hear your opinion. Why do you think that talent level is so indifferent?
Well, I got
Like what is it? Why is there such a wide gap between European pullers and the North American pullers?
I don't think there
On a
are.
whole-
I don't think it's that big. Like if you took a guy that is 10 pounds stronger in a certain plane of movement than the other guy, you're going to think that that guy is so much stronger than the other guy.
Do they train more? Do they got better gear? Do they got
Yeah, I think you nailed it. More
on both?
dedication, more training, better gear, better supplements,
Do
better
you know,
diets.
do you know why I say that?
And all of
Is-
these things are
let's not-
available to North American pullers. They really are.
But are they though? Like
We
I'm
have
gonna be.
more distractions.
Let me say something. Let's not kid ourselves. Most of those guys, if not all, are on some sort of gear. Why do they always look healthier on gear than the North American pullers do? I don't see them sweating like North American pullers do.
Maybe they're
I
not
don't see
overdoing
the-
it.
I honestly asked the question if they just got like, if you look at the Russians, do they get farmer grade gear from their government at no cost?
Well, now you're making wild speculations, but
I'm just asking the question because I know that because it's noticeable to me.
have
and
you
when I
ever
noticed it-
seen, Icarus
See who?
documentary about the Russian doping scandal?
No.
Watch it. That explains everything.
Oh, just give me a
There
quick.
is a reason that when I sat with WAF as vice president of the North American Arm Wrestling Federation, they stopped fining the Russian athletes because there was so many of them that were testing positive for stuff, and they started fining the coach because it was a huge spread on the amount of Russian athletes that tested positive for stuff versus everyone else. The majority were Russian competitors. Now that's how it used to be. I don't know how it is now. There seems to be a culture shift across all of arm wrestling that performance enhancement is a much more acceptable thing to do. Now, there's also a lot of guys making stuff in their freaking kitchen and selling it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe you can go to a pharmacy
Where'd you go, Ryan? No idea what happened to Ryan. Just went to try to call him. His internet went out. So I guess, what's he saying here? I guess that's the end of the show on Ryan's rant. I guess we will finish that off at another time.